Fala galera, quem tá falando aqui é o Supertide trazendo mais um vídeo pra vocês. E dessa vez, The Elder Scrolls 5 Skyrim, né, com a DLC Dawngard. No vídeo passado descobrimos onde está a mãe dela, né, da Serena, eu acho que é Serena. Estamos indo pra lá, velho, vamos lá. Ah tá, primeiro temos que falar com ela.
Now that I think about it, I should have expected that. Sorry. It's hard to describe. The soul cairn is, well, hungry, for lack of a better word. It's trying to take your life essence as payment. There might be, but I don't think you're going to like it. Vampires aren't counted among the living. I could probably go through there without a problem. Not your first choice, I'd guess? Maybe. We could just pay the toll another way. It wants a soul, so we give it a soul. Yours. My mother taught me a trick or two. I could partially soul trap you and offer that gem to the ideal masters. It might be enough to satisfy them. It would make you a bit weaker when we travel through the soul cairn, but we might be able to fix that once we're inside. Maybe. I'm sorry. I wish I knew a better way, something that would be easier for you. Just know that whatever path you choose, I won't think any less of you. Sometimes things just have to be done. I know that better than anybody.
Ah, dá pra me tornar um vampiro ou dividir minha alma? Como assim? Eu não posso entrar?
Are you sure? I'm willing to do it, but you need to think it through. You'll remain mortal, but you'll find yourself weakened within the soul cairn. I understand. Take your time.
Não, porra, eu quero isso.
Are you sure?
Não!
I'm willing to turn you, but you need to think it through.
Tá longe, porra. Olha lá, me machucando.
Have you made up your mind? Are you sure? You'll remain mortal, but you'll find— I know this is difficult for you. I hope you trust me. I'd never do anything that could hurt you. Thank you. Let's not waste any more time then. I promise to make this as painless as possible. Hold still. Let's go. My mother must be waiting on the other side of the—
Beleza, né? Parece que nós estamos mais fracos. Tá bom, galera. Aqui. O que tem aqui? Aqui tem uma missão de um cavalo. Tá bom? E mais umas missõezinhas aleatórias aí pelo mapa. Mas eu sei que, tipo, que eu saiba, só do cavalo é interessante. Então, eu vou direto na mãe dela. Tá bom? E como a gente não é um vampiro, nós ficamos mais fracos aqui. Tá bom? Então, eu vou dar um corte aqui. Eu vou aparecer lá e eu já volto. Beleza, chegamos aqui, galera.
Mother? Mother!
Serana?
Is it really you? I can't believe it. How do we get inside? We have to talk.
Serana, what are you doing here? Where's your father?
He doesn't know we're here. I don't have time to explain.
I must have failed. Harkon's found a way to decipher the prophecy, hasn't he?
No, you've got it all wrong. We're here to stop him, to make everything right.
Wait a moment. You brought a stranger here? Have you lost your mind?
No, you don't—
You, come forward. I would speak with you.
So how has it come to pass that a vampire hunter is in the company of my daughter? It pains me to think you'd travel with Serana under the guise of her protector in an effort to hunt me down. Coming from one who murders vampires as a trade, I find it hard to believe your intentions are noble. Serana has sacrificed everything to prevent Harkon from completing the prophecy. I would have expected her to explain that to you. You think I'd have the audacity to place my own daughter in that tomb for the protection of her Elder Scroll alone? The scrolls are merely a means to an end. The key to the tyranny of the sun is Serana herself. When I fled Castle Volkihar, I fled with 2 Elder Scrolls. The scroll I presume you found with Serana speaks of Ariel and his arcane weapon, Ariel's bow. The second scroll declares that the blood of Cold Harbor's daughter will blind the eye of the dragon. Like myself, Serana was a human once. We were devout followers of Lord Molig Bal. Tradition dictates the females be offered to Molig Bal on his summoning day. Few survive the ordeal. Those that do emerge as a pure-blooded vampire. We call such confluences the Daughters of Cold Harbor. Now you're beginning to see why I wanted to protect Serana, and why I've kept the other Elder Scroll as far from her as possible. If Harkon obtained Ariel's bow, and Serana's blood was used to taint the tyranny of the sun would be complete. In his eyes, she'd be dying for the good of all vampires. And how exactly do you plan on stopping him? If you believe that, then you're a bigger fool than I originally suspected. Don't you think I weighed that option before I enacted my plans? You care nothing for Serana, or our plight. Whether or not you've become one of us in order to survive the Soul Cairn, you're still a vampire hunter at heart. You're here because we're abominations in your mind. Evil creatures that need to be destroyed. Serana? This stranger aligns himself with those that would hunt you down and slay you like an animal. Yet I should entrust you to him.
This stranger has done more for me in the brief time I've known him than you've done in centuries.
How dare you? I gave up everything I cared about to protect you from that fanatic you call a father.
Yes, he's a fanatic. He's changed. But he's still my father. Why can't you understand how that makes me feel?
If you'd only open your eyes. The moment your father discovers your role in the prophecy, that he needs your blood, you'll be in terrible danger.
So to protect me, you decided to shut me away from everything I cared about. You never asked me if hiding me in that tomb was the best course of action. You just expected me to follow you blindly. Both of you were obsessed with your own paths. Your motivations might have been different, but in the end, I'm still just a pawn to you two. I want us to be a family again. But I don't know if we can ever have that. Maybe we don't deserve that kind of happiness. Maybe it isn't for us. But we have to stop him before he goes too far. And to do that, we need the Elder Scroll.
I'm sorry, Serana. I didn't know. I didn't see. I've allowed my hatred of your father to estrange us for too long. Forgive me. You want the Elder Scroll. It's yours. Your intentions are still somewhat unclear to me, but for Serana's sake, I'll assist you in any way that I can. Yes, I've kept it safely secured here ever since I was imprisoned. Fortunately, you're in a position to breach the barrier that surrounds these ruins. You need to locate the tallest of the rocky spires that surround these ruins. At their bases, the barrier's energy is being drawn from unfortunate souls that have been exiled here. Destroy the keepers that are tending them, and it should bring the barrier down. One more word of warning. There's a dragon that calls itself Durnevere roaming the cairn. Be wary of him. The Ideal Masters have charged him with overseeing the keepers, and will undoubtedly intervene if you're perceived as a threat. Harkon's vision is a world plunged in eternal darkness, where the vampire can flourish, and never again fear the tyranny of the sun. What he fails to realize is how much attention would be called to our kind if the prophecy came to fruition. If eternal night fell, there are many who wouldn't stand for it. They would raise armies in attempts to return things to normal. The order of the day would be our destruction, until every last vampire was hunted down and eliminated. I do. It's how the vampire has survived for millennia, and the only way we can continue to survive in the future. When I entered the Soul Cairn, I had intended to strike a bargain with the Ideal Masters, the custodians of this place. I requested refuge in the Soul Cairn, and in exchange, I would provide the Ideal Masters the souls that they crave. If I had foreseen the value they placed on my own soul, I would never have come here. The Ideal Masters unleashed their keepers and sent them to destroy me. Fortunately, I was able to hold them at bay and retreat into these ruins. Unfortunately, yes. Since the Keepers weren't able to claim my soul, they had their minions construct a barrier that I'd never be able to breach. Time has very little meaning to me. Consequently, it has little meaning to the Ideal Masters as well. I suppose you could call this the ultimate waiting game, each watching the other to see which will give in. I know very little about them. They're mystic entities that lord over the Soul Cairn, controlling every aspect from its fabric to its appearance. While some necromancers believe they are the crystalline structures dotting the Soul Cairn, I believe there's more to it than that. I think they transcend what we perceive as a physical form. Perhaps they were once corporeal beings, but they've obviously reached a point where they no longer require a tangible presence. Conduits, through which the Ideal Masters speak to their underlings and feed on their victims. The Ideal Masters' weakness is their insatiable hunger for pure souls. It's the reason for the Soul Cairn's existence, and the only leverage a necromancer has when bargaining with them. The ability to summon powerful undead guardians, as one would conjure an Atronak or Daedra. However, the majority of necromancers that are foolish enough to enter into a bargain with the Ideal Masters wind up here, as harvested souls. As you've been traveling in the Soul Cairn, your body has become attuned to it. Let's just say a tiny part of you rubbed off on it, and in its place, a bit of the Soul Cairn filled the void. You should find no difficulty using the portal any longer. Be careful.
Beleza, galera. Agora a gente vai matar essas coisas aí. Então eu vou aparecer nesses caras e eu já volto. Caralho, mano, que porra foi essa, tio? Nossa. Caralho, velho. Que merda foi essa? Tá, galera, 1 de 3. Vamos pro próximo. Aí, vamos matar o segundo agora aqui. Espera aí. Aí, segundo morto. E tipo, eu já tô enjoado de jogar esse cara. Eu tô jogando esse cara em 40 dias, mano. É um pouquinho complicado. Ótimo. Não dá pra fazer espera aqui. Ah, você tá morto agora, filho. Ah, porra! Tá, agora é só voltar pra mãe dela, né? Beleza. Vou falar com a moça aqui.
You managed to destroy all 3 keepers? Very impressive. Yes. Please follow me. Keep watch for Durnevere. With the prison's barrier down, he's almost certain to investigate.
Um colar? Eu nunca vi falar desse colar. Sabe o nome? Manda o nome pra mim, que eu pesquiso, qualquer coisa eu faço até vídeo.
I hear something.
Ah, da hora, já é agora. Nessa conta vai ser complicado. Que ele gospe? Legal, ele gospe invocação. Esse dragão do caralho. Tentou arrancar minha alma, esse puto. Ah, seu maldito, cara. Legal, esse era fraco. Mano. Olha, a mãe dela tá aqui também. Não tinha visto isso na primeira vez. Cadê ele? Vai, desce aqui, mano. Hã? Cadê ele? Ai, porra. Bota! Ele saiu do escuro ou foi impressão minha? Caralho, que da hora. Cara, essa arma, meu amigo, filho da puta. Na hora de você descer já, né, mano? Falta vida, cara. Ah, agora você tá na merda, velho. Você é gelo, mano. É sério que você é gelo? Sai, porra! Batendo na minha sogra, mano. Mano, na moral, a gente deveria absorver essa alma fodida aí. Seria muito maneiro se a gente absorver essa alma, ganhasse um buff. Daí depois a gente ganhasse a recompensa. Mas, né?
Forgive my astonishment, but I never thought I'd witness the death of that dragon. Volumes written on Durneville allege that he can't be slain by normal means. It appears they were mistaken.
Isso aí, seria da hora, né, mano?
The soul of a dragon is as resilient as its owner's skin. It's possible that your killing blow has merely displaced Durneville's
Sei lá, um grito que invoca umas 4 esqueletos. Sei lá, seria da hora. Hyperlar é a missão secreta. Bruno, pega o nome pra mim depois e manda pra mim. Beleza, completamos. Iremos pegar o bagulho aqui agora, né? Bati na minha sogra e roubei ela. Nome do vídeo. Não, porra. Primeira vez que eu entro numa mesa. Me dá. Não tem dono. Falou, Zé. Vai.
Now that you've retrieved the Elder Scroll, you should be on your way. If there's anything I can do before you depart.
Olha a diferença de óleo.
So my daughter applied some of the lessons I taught her about necromancy, didn't she? Don't worry. I think I can help you. Your soul essence was trapped inside a gem. When you and Serana entered the soul cairn, it was given to the Ideal Masters as they put it. You simply need to retrieve the gem. The moment you touch it, your soul essence will be restored. There's an offering altar not terribly far from here.
Ciência, para de me empurrar, porra!
The gem you're looking for is there. Is there anything else? Could be your last chance.
Cara, uma coisa que eu não entendi foi ela, tipo, vampira sem tomar sangue, tá ligado? Ela tá morta? Que ela não tem fome?
That increases Harkon's likelihood of bringing the tyranny of the sun to fruition. I appreciate your concern for me, but Serana is all that I care about. You must keep her safe at all costs. Remember that Harkon is not to be trusted. No matter what he promises, he'll deceive you in order to get what he wants. And promise me he'll keep my daughter.
É sério isso?
She's the only thing of value I have left.
Tá bom, vamos lá pra fora.
Stay your weapons. I would speak with you, Quinarin. Cursed, not dead. Doomed to exist in this form for eternity. Trapped between Laas and Enoch. Between life and death. I believe in civility among seasoned warriors. And I find your ear worthy of my words. My claws have rended the flesh of innumerable foes, but I have never once been felled on the field of battle.
Casa de família.
I therefore honor name you Quinarin, or Vanquisher in your tongue. Your words do me great honor. My desire to speak with you was born from the result of our battle, Quinarin. I merely wish to respectfully ask a favor of you. For countless years I've roamed the Soul Cairn in unintended service to the Ideal Masters. Before this, I roamed the skies above Tamriel. I desire to return there. I fear that my time here has taken its toll upon me. I share a bond with this dreaded place. If I ventured far from the Soul Cairn, my strength would begin to wane until I was no more. I will place my name with you, and grant you the right to call my name from Tamriel. Do me this simple honor, and I will fight at your side as your Graze Mazen, your ally, and teach you my Thum.
Pelo que eu percebi, o dragão e a mãe da sirena estavam presos aqui.
For me,
Ele foi mais enganado do que a mãe dela, né, mano? Pelo que eu percebi.
I don't require an answer, Quinarin. Simply speak my name to the heavens when you feel the time is
Que é
right.
nunca. Ok, muito obrigado.
In my language, the Quinarin is the vanquisher, the one who has bested a fellow Dova in battle.
Aí ganhamos a palavra de poder, né? Maldição invocar Dawngard. Palavra de poder, nunca invocar Dawngard.
You may not be one of us in
Morrendo, invocar
earned
Dawngard.
the right to bear this title. In my language, the Quinarin is the vanquisher, the one who has bested a fellow Dova in battle.
Tá bom. Eu vou sair daqui e já volto. Aí, chegamos aqui. Vamos vazar desse lugar. Aleluia!
Let's go home.
Aí, chegamos. Terminamos, né? Então o vídeo vai ficando por aqui. Espero que vocês tenham gostado desse vídeo. Peço para vocês se inscreverem no canal, dar joinha no vídeo. Me sigam nas redes sociais e nas plataformas. Até uma próxima. Muito obrigado. Fui!